Bobby was difficult, always up to some mischief. But never like this.
You always made excuses for him. You'd never let the rest of us get away with half the things he did. I'm not surprised Drake's gone bad. He's a renegade.
Renegade? No. Free-spirited, perhaps.
There you go again, coddling him.
And you are being intransigent.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of GospelX, the gospel according to the X-Men. My name is Jonathan, and this is my friend Henry. And we're just so glad that you can join us today as we continue to move on to another episode entitled Cold Comfort. And it's an introduction to a character named Iceman. And so, Henry, how about you kick us off? Give us some context. Actually, give us some context for the scenes that we saw, right? We showed you 2 episodes just now. And so, Henry, go for it. What do you want to tell the audience?
Well, let's just start with how the episode begins. Iceman goes and attacks this military facility. Cerebro picks something up, and Professor X realizes that, oh my gosh, it's Bobby Drake. I know this guy. I love this guy. And then all the X-Men, you got to, on the double, we got to go and save him, right? He's one of us. We got to go. And then the moment that Professor X mentions that it's Bobby, Cyclops just flips. He just goes nuts.
Yep, and that's the scene that we just showed you guys, right? And Henry, you quoted the best because you remembered the line. What did he say?
He said that nobody would get away with half of the stuff that Bobby got away with.
Right.
Basically saying that, he's basically the golden child. Oh, not the golden child. He's just the screw up. It's the screw up kid that keeps getting chance after chance after chance after chance. He pushes all the boundaries, and Professor X, he's a harsh disciplinarian, but he still gives him second chances.
Right.
The Cyclops, it's not fair. It's not fair that everybody else is held to a higher standard than Iceman. Mm-hmm. And one has to go and meet those standards, but Iceman doesn't need to meet any of them, and he still gets all the privileges of being an X-Man.
Yeah, so it's just completely unfair.
It's completely not fair at all. So they rush out, they go and they do save him. Mm-hmm. Cyclops literally optic blasts him unconscious to go and save him.
A little excessive squinty.
Yeah. They bring him back to the mansion, and then Iceman says, he's just completely indignant. He's saying that I left this place. I don't want your help. I don't need your help. Just let me go. And first they say, look, just tell us what's going on. We're your friends. And then they trap him in a force field, basically, like putting him into detention. Like literally, Professor Xavier puts him into basically detention.
Yeah. So, okay, we blast off forward, and in the next scene we showed our audience was the conversation with Jubilee. What do you say about that one?
So, with Jubilee, she kind of recognizes, because Iceman had this conversation with Beast, explaining why he's doing what he's doing, and it makes it very clear that he actually needs help. He's actually in trouble. Someone he loves is in trouble. But instead of recognizing that issue, Professor Xavier just goes and and Cyclops kind of just brush it off and says, you're going to just stay here in this detention and we're not going to help you.
Yeah.
Jubilee goes and helps him. And then when confronted, Jubilee says that you guys are basically so busy condemning him for everything that he's done before. You never actually took the chance to actually listen to what he had to say. Listen to his problem and actually try to help him.
Right.
And Professor X realizes later on that it wasn't right. He jumped right back into the role of the mean disciplinarian headmaster when he should have accepted his new role as his friend. Cyclops is at this point still still flipped over.
It's funny that it's Cyclops is still flipped out, eh? So yeah. So all right. So okay. So our audience, you guys got the full scoop, kind of the general idea of this episode. So what are we to talk about? Are we supposed to talk about Cyclops' flip out, or what are we supposed to talk about? There's a lot of stuff that we could talk about, but
there's a story I remember in the Bible. It talks about another pair of brothers, and where one got really indignant because the other one got forgiven, right? And that's the story of the prodigal son. Why don't you go and take us through that and see what's the similarities here?
What are the similarities of the prodigal son?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's it's what boils down to it. I think that sticks out the similarity is the two brothers near the end. I think when that spoiled rotten brother screw up, sort of like Iceman.
Yeah.
Comes back. Yeah, comes back. Totally screwed up. Treated his dad like as if he was dead. And then also stole. Took the money and partied it up. Right. Gambled it away, and then also fed pigs in the mud, right? So complete screw up, lost it, clearly didn't treat his birthright or the family name with respect. And then he comes back, knows that he's a screw up, comes back, and then said, and then the father just didn't even allow him to speak, but his father just welcomes him home, gives him the best clothes, and throws a big party and kills a pig just to
fatten
calf, because they're Jews, they don't eat pigs. Correction, right? So the older brother, who was righteous and hardworking, obedient, gets pissed off, just like Cyclops, right? Because he goes
like Cyclops.
Because hey, why does he deserve that? He doesn't deserve that. He literally treated us as if we're just garbage, right? Why do you treat him that way? Why do you give him another chance, just like Iceman got so many chances? And so that's an interesting, parallel. And so, So what do you think? We got these two brothers, parallels, right?
I'm interested in what you said before was, we as Christians, which brother do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as the screw up, or do you see yourself as the person who is righteous and he's pissed off that somebody else is getting forgiven, somebody else is given a second chance?
Yeah, well, it's I think there's many times that I feel that we're all sometimes relate to the older brother, especially for those of us who have thought of ourselves as a upright moral citizen, a good citizen. We follow the rules, we obey our parents, we go to church every Sunday, and yet we see God blessing other people who clearly are wrong with so much stuff, right? And so much good stuff, and they succeed in everything. And we see them going, why did they get all the good stuff and we get none of it? And we work so hard, Lord, right? How come you don't give me some stuff, right? Some of the loving, right? And yet we are reminded of that story, that God's goodness is for everyone, regardless whether it's for that. And ultimately, has nothing to do with material wealth. It's all about being called his child. And because we say those things, because we say, how come I know I'm not getting any of that? How come I'm not getting any of that? What I deserve, right? Well, unfortunately, we also deserve a whole lot of whoop ass, right? Because of all the wrong that we've done that we don't know of, or we don't confess to. And so actually, ultimately, we are all recipients of God's goodness, which is his mercy and love and his forgiveness, which is Xavier's offering to Iceman, right?
At the very end, he's like, come back.
Yeah, come back, right?
Yeah, Xavier says that I've learned, it's gonna be different, come back and join us.
And interesting enough, Cyclops has screwed up a few times too, right? In these episodes, and he should know that Xavier still welcomes him too, knowing full well that Xavier will welcome him as well. So it's not so much of like we forget. So for us Christians, we tend to forget about the stuff that we've done that God has forgiven, right? But very quickly condemn others to a point that we neglect to help others. Like Jubilee says.
I think that's the point of basically the moral of this episode is don't be so quick to condemn another person. You know, it's thinking that you're righteous, thinking that, you know, they don't deserve a second chance. But just because another person doesn't fit the mold of what you feel is good, you know, doesn't mean that, you know, you shouldn't listen to what they have to say or listen to what their problems are, like Cyclops did. You know, be more like it here.
I think there's two lessons here. One is to recognize that as Christians, God has given us many chances as well. Like he has given us second chances as well. And sometimes I think we forget that and we take it for granted, just like Iceman. But then, unlike Iceman, I think we are like Cyclops, where we forget that, and then we look at our moral citizenship, our uprightness, and say, "Oh, look at how good we are," and then we are so quick to condemn others' wrongs, and so quick that we forget to become like God, like to be Jesus-like, to actually care for others as well, to extend that second chance to other people that we received. Instead, we forget about the second chances. We're focusing on our good side and then be quick to condemn, which is, I think, the two principles that are drawn here.
Absolutely. So that kind of brings the episode Cold Comfort to an end.
To conclusion.
To conclusion. The Dark Phoenix Saga next.
Which we've already done, I think, right? Or haven't done yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. So yes, we are now embarking on the Dark Phoenix Saga, and I hopefully that you all can join us for that. So till next time, have a blessed week.